Alright guys, probably some of you already saw this video coming. Today we're talking about MK1 Scorpion, who was advertised to be one of the most powerful diamonds ever released. So the question we're about to answer today is that true? Is he one of the best characters in the game? Is he the best character in the game? You know, I have been playing him for a while, for the past couple of days, and now I can more or less answer this question. My opinion is that MK1 Scorpion is not the best character in the game by far. He is not the best Scorpion in the game, and I don't even think that he's in top 5 best characters in the game. Whether I can run him in top 10, probably. It all depends how powerful he will feel once I max him out, which is going to happen probably in a year or 2 years from now. But from now, I kind of believe that he belongs somewhere between top 10 and top 15 best characters in the game. Now, why I don't consider him to be the best Scorpion and the best character in the game? First reason. This guy has zero value as a support, and I mean that absolutely zero. Everything when it comes to his passive, everything is about him. He's getting, oh my god, he's getting the fire vitality, he's getting attack boost, he's getting shield, he ignites and then he becomes immortal, and then he dies in blasts and damage, you know, and he gains more fire vitality for each martial artist teammate. However, he doesn't boost other characters, not in the slightest. So when it comes to being support useful for other cards, he isn't great at all, which is super bad because certain characters are very good at high fusion but very bad at low fusion. However, because they have something that works even at low fusion, they can be useful for your team. For instance, Lizard Noob, he can bring back an enemy character that you want to fight. For instance, Lizard Baraka, even Lizard Baraka, because he gives 25% I believe critical chance boost for all outward characters. MK11 Scorpion, who is one of the worst supports in the game, still can add something to the table. For instance, he's improving the little blow chance of all his MK11 teammates. So even MK11 Scorpion, who is not the best character in the game when it comes to being the support, he's much better support than MK1 Scorpion, because unlike MK11, MK1 Scorpion doesn't offer anything. He has zero value as a support. So the way you have to play this guy is simple. You just have to use him as your main fighter, and you have to have another fighter, or let's say 2 supports, so that you can boost him and make him, let's say, turn him into an animal. So he can be super strong and he can destroy everything. Now, this is the first problem, okay? He is not a good support. Actually, his support value is non-existent. And I'm sorry, but the best character in the game should at least offer something as being support. Now, there are other S tier characters such as Classic Raiden, who are not really the best supports in the game. Classic Raiden also offers zero value as a support. However, unlike Scorpion, and we get to the second problem with this guy, Classic Raiden can be supported super easily, while MK1 Scorpion is only good in martial artist team. He's not a dual class character, which is a problem. For instance, if you want to use this guy a lot in survival mode, in crypt, you name it, it is much better to focus on characters that have a lot of classes so that they can give you bonuses more often. In the case of MK1 Scorpion, he cannot do that because he's just martial artist. That's another minus. Again, that's not the end of the world, but you will definitely prefer him to be, for instance, martial artist and Spec Ops compared to just martial artist. I'm just giving you an example. Unfortunately, MK1 Scorpion is just a martial artist, so if you put this together with the fact that he cannot support anybody, there we go, already 2 drawbacks to this character. So we get to the third drawback. This guy cannot do anything at Fusion 0. Now, granted, he can do some decent damage for a Fusion 0 character based on the fact that he gains fire vitality, increasing his attack in the process, so he can be twice as strong compared to other diamonds at low fusion. However, there is another problem. The problem lies in the fact that if you want to fight as low fusion character, usually you don't want to kill them by punches and special attack that deal damage. You want to kill them by dots. Dots is the ultimate solution for fighting Fusion 0 against Fusion 10. It is not the attack, it is not the damage of the special attack. You only need to consider the dots. If you have dots, you can melt characters that have 2 million health in seconds. You cannot do that even if you have the strongest special one for a Fusion 0 diamond. So that's unfortunate. Still, he has very useful debuffs on Special 1 and Special 2 that can be useful in a lot of situations. Still though, I'm not convinced that he can offer anything at Fusion 0. He cannot support. If you want to fight with him at Fusion 0, I reckon there are better alternatives that can actually do much more damage thanks to the fact that they have dots, for instance, MK11 Scorpion, for instance, slash Jason, you name it. And at the end of the day, there's another thing that's very useful for any fighter, which is the ability to power drain. This guy doesn't have it. Granted, he has unblockable special too, which is super awesome with not Dispel but Cripple. But at the end of the day, again, I'm not convinced this guy will offer anything at low fusion, which is very, very useful, especially if we're trying to decide who is the best character in the game. So far, 3 drawbacks. Now, there's another drawback of MK1 Scorpion, which is the fact that his passive works in a weird way. So in a way, once he is ignited, the biggest problem of him being ignited that he cannot be tagged out. So if you tag him out, that's a problem because you cannot do that. He has to stay and he has to fight. So in a way, he needs to kill the entire enemy team by the time his ignite is over, by the time his bar is exhausted. If he fails to do so, he's going to explode. Now, unfortunately, this is kind of pretty bad for the character, again, when it comes to him being useful at Fusion 0, because if you want to tank something with this guy, you need to stay and fight until he explodes. It would be much better to, let's say, to summon him back and forth while being immortal, so that you can basically spread his immortality. Let's say, I'm going to fight now, 5 seconds now, then I'm going to tag him out, then I'm going to bring him back in 10 seconds later so I can eat an extra, stuff like this. Unfortunately, you cannot do that, so once he's ignited, that's it. You have to stay and fight, which will make sense if he's Fusion X and he's super powerful, but if he's low Fusion, that's not really great. And even at Fusion X, I think it's going to be better to be able to tag him out, at least when he's, let's say, 5% left on the immortality bar. So, in other words, you can control the explosion. Again, unfortunately, you cannot do that. So more or less, these are all the negatives I can list for this guy. Now let's talk about the positive. The positives are that he's super fast, super fun to play. He has 2 very good debuffs with special to doing tons of damage and being unblockable. That's super good. Unfortunately, he isn't really the greatest special 1 spammer in the world, so the best way to use him is to kind of mix special 2 and special 1. And of course, he has probably one of the very best combination of offensive and defensive power, because the most powerful he gets, he gains shield in the process, so that's pretty awesome. In a way, one of the safest cards to use, for instance, in survival mode or crypt, once maxed out. And yeah, this is the whole thing that I wanted to share about MK1 Scorpion. Now, if I have to rank him among all Scorpions in the game, I still consider MK11 and Strike Force Scorpions to be the best character in the game. With MK11 being slightly better than Strike Force because he can carry your account much better than Strike Force Scorpion. MK1 Scorpion is the same level as Cold War Scorpion and Hellspawn Scorpion. I cannot really decide which one is better. In my opinion, they all have pros and cons. For instance, Hellspawn Scorpion is incredible support, super useful at Fusion 0. He can also be decent fighter. However, I believe MK1 Scorpion has an edge when it comes to fighting high fusion, being much better than Hellspawn. That's my personal opinion. For instance, another guy, Cold War Scorpion, super useful in Cold War team, the best special 1 spammer in the game. He has super good special 2, super good special 1. Unfortunately, he is Netherrealm, difficult to support, and outside of the Cold War team, he's not that great. So all other Scorpions have pros and cons, and I believe it is fair to say that MK11 is still the best Scorpion, then comes Strike Force Scorpion, then the other 3 Diamond Scorpions, Cold War or just Cold War Scorpion, Hellspawn Scorpion, and MK1 Scorpion comes next. And now I'm going to finish the video by just giving you a quick tip how to chain his basic attacks better. You know, he has 2 combos. The first combo ends with something like a punch or a slice, and the second one combo ends with a hit. So you have to miss the combo with the kick. Look at this. Okay, this combo you do, then start the next combo and cancel the combo ender, and then repeat. This is the best way, as long as you're, of course, breaking blocks, to fight with this guy, at least to the best of my knowledge. Okay, I'm going to do the combo ender now, and I'm going to cancel. And then I'm going to do another combo ender, and yeah, this guy is going to come in. I'm going to do special 3 or X-ray, or I don't know how this thing is called. Is it fatal blow, whatever? This is going to set the entire enemy team on fire, which is going to be super cool, and then I continue. This is the bad combo ender, so I'm going to skip it, and then I'm going to start with the good combo ender. And basically, this is the way of chain. It is not perfect, so in many cases it will fail, but it's still pretty awesome. So the final grade of this Scorpion, I'll grade him probably an A+. He's super cool, and I reckon he's going to be very, very powerful at Fusion 10. However, I'm not going to call him the best Scorpion in the game or the best character in the game because he has certain flaws. Once again, the flaws, he cannot really do anything at Fusion 0. His passive with the explosion is kind of weird. Unfortunately, I won't be able to tag out at least once while his ignition is on. Also, he doesn't have any dots, which is sad. He's just a martial artist, so there are a lot of things to be said negative about this guy. None of them are, let's say, incredibly bad, so none of them is making him look bad, but at the end of the day, they are actually existent and they make sure that he is not going to be the best character in the game. So when it comes to my opinion, again, I'm going to grade him as an A. If he had at least something when it comes to him being support, that would be great. Unfortunately, he doesn't. So if you want to build a team around him, just place him in a team, make sure that he's your main fighter, then support him properly, and you won't have any issues whatsoever. Alright guys, so please let me know what do you think about MK1 Scorpion. Do you agree with me? Have you already tested this guy, and what do you think about him? And more or less is going to be all for me today. Have an amazing rest of your day. Cheers.
Perfect.